Hi fellow comrades, welcome back. This is Victus. I bring back TSARDOMS Total War because for those that haven't noticed, there is a new TSARDOMS release in ModDB. Wallachian, the mod creator, has made the announcement of the new released Fall of Constantinople 1448 campaign. Of course, this is a standalone campaign that you can install independent from the previous one. This campaign brings us a century in the future from the base 1345 when we had the Roman Civil War. The release was announced in July 29th, 2023, and as usual, I bring to you factions and starting positions of this new TSARDOMS Total War, the Fall of Constantinople 1448 campaign. So let's go and let's see what this mod has to offer. At first glance, we begin with the faction selection screen, and the first faction that we see is the Crown of Poland. Now, the Crown of Poland is also known as the Crewo Union, or the Commonwealth of Poland-Lithuania. In consolidation, we have to hold 25 regions. This is going to be the same for each faction as we go through this faction overview. And the expansionism is going to be to hold 40 regions. In the case of Poland, when we go to consolidation, we have to eliminate the Principality of Moldova. So let's go to the map and let's see what brings to us Wallachian with the Crown of Poland. Welcome to the faction of Poland, a mod created by Wallachian. Here we see the city of Krakow. We are in the edge of the northern part of the map, and we see a lot of interesting stuff here right off the bat. I just want to note that this mod, it has a lot of detail and is going to make you feel as if you are inside these very walls, and is going to teleport you to the period that is portraying. Is stunning. So let's go ahead and check what we got here. With Krakow, the country of Poland, the capital city, we have the faction leader, King Kazimierz IV. As the greatest general, we have Peter Donin. I'm going to have a look at this guy in a few moments. We have 13 generals in our command. We control 6 regions as Poland, 3 castles. The family tree, we see straight our leader, which is King Kazimierz IV, 21 years old. So Kazimierz IV is this guy with 4 command, and he has 3 chivalry points. Authority, he possesses 5, and he has a piety of 4. So King Kazimierz is the house of Jagiellon. He's the Grand Duke of Lithuania, King of Poland, and the Grand Kniez of Rus. His traits are the following. He is Lithuanian, faction leader of the Polish-Lithuanian royal blood, and these are his traits. For the greatest general, we have Peter Donin. Let's check him out. So this guy has 6 stars, and he has Dread, 3 points in Dread. He's very loyal, as you can see. 7 points in loyal, and 3 rings in piety. In his retinue, he has a drill master. He is of Polish origin. Feel free to see his traits. These are the list of the generals that we're going to find with this faction. Prince John is the faction heir. If we check this guy that has 4 stars and 2 chivalry plus 3 piety, we can see that he is Polish and he is the voivode of Krakow, and he possesses this heir ring over here that is passed to the next faction heir, will inherit the rulership of the realm of the Commonwealth. This is the list of the agents. We have 1 spy, 1 diplomat, a cardinal, and a couple of priests, including a bishop. The settlements are the following. So now let's go to the next one. We have the Kingdom of Hungary. Here are the 25 regions for consolidation, and we have to eliminate the Principality of Scilly. For expansionism, we have to hold 60 regions. When you start with Hungary, you're going to start straight with a battle against the Turks. So just for you to know that. So here we have Buda, the region of Buda on the Danube. Let's go ahead and check what we have as the faction leader, King Laszlo the Posthumous. Then we have Miklós Wallachian as the greatest general. With this faction we have 29 generals in our command, 18 regions controlled. 11 of those 18 regions are castles. Now let's have a look at the family tree here. Here is King Laszlo the Posthumous, 14 years old. Being a teenager, we cannot select him, so let's go straight to show the list of the generals, and let's have a look at the greatest general first.
An honor to serve, my
Here we have Miklós Wallachian with 5 stars command, chivalry of 3, a loyalty of 4, and a piety of 3. He's of the house of Wallachian, Ban of Maxo, Ispan of Sirmia, the voivode of Transylvania. He is of Slavonian origin. And here we are going to have a look at his traits. So now let's have a look at the commanders that we have here. In agents we have a cardinal, priests, 2 diplomats, and a spy. And here we can have a look at the settlements. Let's go to the Principality of Scilly. In consolidations we have to hold 10 regions. And for expansionism, 20 regions. As we can see, the Principality of Scilly is a very small faction. The capital city is Scilly. The faction leader is Prince Ulrich II. We have Jan Vitovec as the greatest general. With this small faction, we have command of 5 generals, 3 regions controlled. 2 of them are cities. 1 is a castle. Let's go straight to the family tree. And we can see here Prince Ulrich II, faction leader, age 42. This guy has a command of 4 stars, 1 point in chivalry, but he has 6 authority and 4 piety. He's of the house of von Scilly. He's the Prince of Scilly, the man of Croatia and Dalmatia. He is of Styrian origin and noble blood, and these are his traits. Now let's go and check Jan Vitovec as his more able general.
I will make them fear you.
Now this guy has as retinue Hussite. He is of Moravian origin. 5 stars and 5 dread. Full loyalty and 3 piety. And you can see the traits. As the faction heir, we have Count Friedrich II with 2 stars, 4 chivalry,
An honor to serve, my lord.
8 loyalty,
An honor to serve, my lord.
and 7 piety. He's of the House of Vansili as well. Order of the Dragon, one of Slavonia, the Air Ring. As we can see, we can pass the ring to other characters. And you can have a look at the traits of this guy. Let's have a look at the spy, the diplomat, and priest. And these are the settlements. Let's go ahead to the Kingdom of Bosnia. 15 regions. Eliminate the faction of the Despotate of Serbia. And 35 regions for expansionism. We have Bobobak as the capital city. Faction leader is King Stepan Tomas. Stepan Vukic Kosaka is the greatest general. 7 generals to command. 5 regions controlled. 4 of them are castles. Going here to the family tree, we can see here Radivosh Ostoshi, and we have here King Stefan Thomas. King Stefan Thomas is a 4 command with 1 chivalry, 4 authority, and 4 piety. He is of the house of Kotromanic, King of Bosnia, and he has a shield bearer as a retinue. He is of Bosnian origin, and these are his traits. Let's go ahead and take a look at his greatest general.
An honor to serve, my
Stefan Vukic Kosaka, 7 stars in command, chivalry of 4, no loyalty at all, and 7 stars in piety. He's of the house of Kosaka. Grand Voivode of Hum and Veliki Vojevoda. He is Humlian in origin. For the faction heir, we have Prince Stefan Tomasevich.
An honor to serve, my lord.
Very standard guy with 1 chivalry, 4 command, 7 loyalty, 3 piety of the House of Kochomanich, and he has his ring. He is of Bosnian origin, are his traits. For agents we have diplomat, priest, spy and an assassin. These are the settlements. Now let's go to the Republic of Ragusa. 10 regions for consolidation and 20 regions for expansionism. So welcome to Ragusa. The capital city is Ragusa. The faction leader is Rector Vlaho. Conciliar Alovise is the greatest general. 3 generals we have in command with this faction. 2 regions controlled, 1 city and 1 castle. Let's have a look at what we have here with military forces. The faction leader, which is the Rector Vlaho, and as you can see, we don't have family tree here. This is purely a military faction. The Conciliar Alvois, which is a 3-star general and very loyal. So let's have a look and check the faction leader.
Your orders, number 1.
The faction leader has 5 authority and 5 piety. He has the greatest piety that we have seen so far. Now he is the rector of Ragusa. He has an apothecary. He is of Ragusan origin, and these are his traits. For the faction heir,
Yes?
which is as well the most powerful general, 3 command, 6 loyalty and 5 piety. He is the heir apparent and as well a Ragusan guy. These are his traits. For agents we have a bishop, 2 merchants, spy and a diplomat, and these are the 2 settlements. Now let's have a look at the Despotate of Serbia. 25 regions for consolidation, 40 regions for expansionism. Welcome to the Despotate of Serbia. Here we have the capital city Smederevo. The faction leader is the despot Jurac, and the greatest general is the despot Jurac himself. 10 generals in our command, 7 regions controlled, 3 of them are castles. Let's have a look at the family tree. So here we have his son, Gurgur Brankovic, and he has Stefan the Blind and Prince Lazar. So despot Jurac, he has 5 in command, 3 chivalry, 7 in authority, and 6 in piety. He is of the House of Brankovic, despot of Serbia, and he has a librarian in his retinue. He is Humlian in origin, and these are his traits. So let's have a look at these guys very quickly. Prince Lazar is the heir. As we can see, Prince Lazar has 3 command, has 5 dread, 8 in loyalty and 3 in piety. Here we can have a look at the military forces and some of the generals. For the agents, we have a patriarch, a metropolitan, a diplomat, an assassin, and a spy. And these are the settlements. Now for the League of Leze, we have 12 regions for consolidation and 30 regions for expansionism. So for Leze we have the capital city of Cluj, Lord George Castrioti Skanderbeg as the faction leader and greatest general, 7 generals in our command, 2 regions in our control. Both of them are castles. So let's have a look at this Skanderbeg. Castriotis Skanderbeg is a very powerful commander with 9 stars, 8 chivalry, 8 authority, and 7 piety. Now this guy is very powerful, however is a little bit old, but so far is the most powerful commander that we have seen. He is of the house of Castrioti, leader of the League of Leze, Order of the Dragon, and he has a Ninak as the retinue. He is of Albanian origin, and these are his traits. Now let's go ahead and have a look at the faction commanders here. We have the faction heir, which is Count Leke III. This is a very standard guy with 3 command, 2 loyalty, and 4 piety. He is of the house of Dukagjini. He has in his retinue a cannon and the air ring. He is Albanian, and these are his traits. Continuing here, we can have a look at the commanders. A spy, a diplomat, a bishop, and an assassin for agents. And then we have the 2 regions here. Now this faction, in a note here, has very powerful commanders, as you can see. However, it is very small, so it is a very interesting one. Now let's have a look at the Principality of Wallachia. 15 regions for consolidation and 35 regions on expansionism. As the capital city, we have Targoviste. Faction leader is the Voivod Vlad III Impaler. Nothing else than Vlad Dracul, and he is of course the greatest general. We have 8 generals with this interesting faction. We have 6 regions controlled, 4 cities, and 2 castles. Let's have a look at Dracul here. So we have here Voivod Vlad III the Impaler. He's 18 years old, very interesting fact here. Now, this guy has full dread, so this character is a very interesting one, and because of the historical situation as well, it is very interesting to have a full dread guy here. Now he has 6 in command and has 5 in authority, 3 on piety. He is of the house of Basarab. He is Vlach in origin, Voivod of Wallachia. He is of the Order of the Dragon. And interesting to note here, he has this Draculesti trait that I have to make emphasis here. So let's have a look at his traits here. Impaler, as you can see here. So now let's go and see the lists. We have the faction heir, which is the associate voivode Vlad IV the Monk.
Your will shall be obeyed.
He is of the
You shall not relent ever.
House of Bazarab, but in comparison, he is quiet, incompetent. 1 dread, 2 commandings, in 2 stars in command, 6 loyalty and 6 piety. He is of Vlach origin, and these are his traits. These are the guys that are in command for us. In agents we have a priest, a diplomat, a spy and an assassin, and these are the settlements. Let's go to the Principality of Moldova. With these we have to hold 15 regions and 35 regions if we want an expansionism mode. Now, this faction, Moldova, is an interesting faction in this time period by the fact that it is in constant threat by the Turks as well as the Wallachian faction with Vlad Dracul. Let's have a look at the capital city here in Suceava. The faction leader is the Voivode Petru III, and the greatest general is Stefan III the Great. 8 generals in our command, 5 regions controlled. 2 of those regions are castles. Having a look at the family tree, we can go and see that the faction heir is the associate Voivode Bogdan II, and this Voivode Petru III is the actual faction leader. He has 4 stars in command, 2 dread, and 4 in authority, with a normal piety of 3. He is of the house of Bogdan Muzat and the Voivode of Moldova. He is of Transylvanian Vlach origin, and these are his traits. Now let's go ahead and check the faction heir here. Faction heir, as well, he is of the house of Bogdan Muzad. These are his traits. Now let's have a look at the lists, and something that I have noted here is that even though this guy is the faction heir, he does not possess the faction heir ring. So that is something to take into account. So now, over here we have the rosters for the military forces, and here are the commanders that we have at our disposal with the Moldovan faction. In agents, we have a priest, a diplomat, a spy and an assassin, and in settlements, we have those. Continuing here, we go directly to the Roman Empire, the last remnants of the Great Empire. For consolidation, we have to hold 15 regions. And if you want to do an expansionism campaign, you can hold 40 regions. Of course, playing as Rome will bring us to Constantinople. So this is going to be the capital eventually. Faction leader is going to be Basileus Ioannes, and the greatest general is going to be Symbasileus Constantinus. We're going to command with Rome 11 generals. We're going to control 7 regions. 4 of those regions are castles. Let's go ahead and have a look at the family tree. As we can see with the family tree, we see a very extensive family tree. We see here Demetrius Palaiologos, we see Symbasileus Constantinus, age 43, which is the faction heir. And we have Basileus Joannes the 8th. Basileus Joannes the 8th, 55 years old, has a command of 4 stars, no chivalry, 6 authority, and no piety. So he is of the house of the Palaiologoi. He is of course the Roman Emperor. And we see the crown of Rome. And in his retinue we see as well Georgios Gemistus Plethon. He is a Constantinopolitan. He is born into the purple, and these are his traits. Let's go ahead and have a look at the Symbasileus Constantinus the 11th. This guy is the faction heir.
Your orders, noble one.
Eventually, this guy is the last emperor of Rome in the real timeline. This guy is a very strong commander with 6 stars, 5 chivalry, 9 loyalty to the actual Basileus, and standard for piety. He is as well of the house of the Palaiologoi, the despot of Morea, and he has the traditional, by traditional I mean the one that we already saw in the previous version of the mod, the Globus Cruciger, that is given to the heir. He is as well of Constantinopolitan birth, of Greek imperial blood, born into the purple, and the following are his traits. Here we see the list of commanders that we have. Here is the list of agents, 2 priests, 2 diplomats and 1 spy. And the following are the list of settlements. Following the Romans, we have the Despotate of Epirus. We have 12 regions for consolidation and 30 regions for expansionism. Let's go straight to the overview. The capital city of Epirus is Arta. The faction leader is Despot Carlo II, and he is as well its greatest general. We have 5 generals with this faction. We control 3 regions. 2 of those regions are castles. Looking at the family tree, we see that Despot Carlo, the faction leader, has 4 stars in command, no chivalry, 6 in an authority, and 3 in piety. He is a member of the house of Toko. He is of Frank origin, Count Palatine of Cephalonia and Zakynthos, the despot of Epirus, and these are his traits. Following him, we see the faction heir. The faction heir, Count Leonardo III. He is a very young man with 3 in command, 2 in chivalry, 8 in loyalty to the actual leader, and a standard piety of 4. He's as well Frank from the House of Toko, and he has the heir ring. These are his traits. Now, having a look here at the lists, we can see all the commanders, 1 agent, and the 3 settlements. Now let's have a look at the next one, the Knights of St. John, Knights Hospitalier, 12 regions for consolidation, 30 regions for expansionism. For the Knights of St. John, we have Rhodos as the capital city, Grandmaster Jean as the faction leader and the greatest general, 6 generals in our command, 3 regions controlled by the knights, 2 of them are castles. Grandmaster Jean, faction leader,
Ready and able. Ready and able.
has 6 in command, 6 in chivalry, 7 in authority, and 5 in piety. He is of Occitan origin, langue of Auvergne, Grand Master of the Hospitalier Order, and these are his traits. For the faction heir,
Ready and able.
we have Grand Commander Jax, 5 stars in command, 2 in chivalry, 7 loyalty for the actual leader, and 3 piety. He's the langue of Auvergne, of Occitan origin as well, and these are his traits. Here we can see a list of the commanders. The list of agents, 1 bishop, spy, an assassin, and a diplomat. And here we see the 3 settlements. Now let's go perhaps to the most powerful faction. This is the Turks, or the Ottoman Empire. 55 regions for consolidation. So this is a change in comparison with other regions, because this is the most powerful. We need to hold more regions. And 100 regions for the expansionism mode. Obviously, in addition, we have to eliminate the Roman Empire, as historically. The Turkish Empire is another faction that begins with a battle. The battle is called the Battle of Kosovo. The capital city of the Turks is Edirne. The faction leader and the greatest general as well is Sultan Murad II, because this is one of the most powerful factions, or perhaps the most. We have in our control 47 generals, 33 regions, and 13 of those are castles. Going to the family tree, we see that Sultan Murad is the leader. We can see that this is a powerful character. He has 8 stars in command, 5 in chivalry, full authority, and 8 rings in piety. He is of Osman tribe. This is the origin of this character. He is of the House of Osmanoglu, which is the Ottoman house, Padishah of Osman, and he has in his retinue the Sword of Osman and a Ghazi warrior. The following are his traits. Now, the faction heir is Mehmed II, the actual victorious commander that defeated the Romans. He has 5 stars, 4 dread, full loyalty for his father, and a piety of 6. He is of Osman origin, Ottoman blood. He is of the House of Osmanoglu. He has the Tooth of Muhammad, the Kyriakos of Ancona, and is the Shehzadeh, which is the next heir. These are his traits. Let's have a look at the list here. The list of commanders, of course, is very extensive. Let's have a look at the agents. We have an imam, an assassin, spy, and a diplomat. And let's see the extensive list of the settlements. Let's continue with the Beylik of Kandar. 15 regions for consolidation. We will have to eliminate the factions of the Knights of St. John and 30 regions for expansionism. With the Beylik of Kandar, we found ourselves in the easternmost part of the map. We have Sinop as the capital city. The faction leader is called Ismail Bey, the greatest general, Shahabeddin, 2 generals in our control, 3 regions. One of those regions is a castle. So far, this is a very small faction. We have eventually the greatest general and the faction leader on the list.
As my Sultan wills.
Ismail Bey is a commander with 4 stars, 2 chivalry, 5 authority, and 7 piety. He is of Kandarid origin, House of Kandaroglu, the Bey of Kandar, and he has an apothecary as the retinue. These are his traits.
As my Sultan wills.
Shahabeddin, for the greatest general, is a commander with 5 stars, 1 point in chivalry, 8 rings for loyalty, and 5 rings in piety. He has nothing on a retinue. He is of Kandrid region, and these are his traits. Having a look at the family tree, a very quick look. Let's have a look at the list of agents and the list of settlements. Following the Beylik of Kandar, we found ourselves the Emirate of Karaman. These guys have 10 regions for consolidation and 50 regions for expansionism. So for Kandar we have Konya as the capital city, Amir Ibrahim II as the faction leader, Ali Kokezoglu as the greatest general, 8 generals in our command, 4 regions controlled by the Kandars, 2 of them are castles. Amir Ibrahim II as the faction leader has 4 stars in command, no chivalry, 5 in authority and 4 in piety. He is of Karamanid origin, part of the House of Karamanoglu, Emir of Karaman, and in his retinue he has an apothecary. The following are his traits. Now let's have a look at the list and let's find the greatest general.
What is the Sultan's will?
Ali Kokeshoglu is a general with 5 command, no chivalry, 3 loyalty for the leader and 1 piety, nothing in retinue, and he is of Turkish origin with the following traits. Eventually we're going to have a look at the faction heir.
Na'am, Sultan.
The faction heir of the Karaman faction is the Crown Prince Ishak, with 4 stars in command, no chivalry, 6 in loyalty and 3 in piety. He is of Karamanid origin, part of the House of Karamanoglu with the traditional heir ring of the mod, and the following are his traits. Now here we see the list of commanders that are to our disposal. In agents we have a diplomat and an imam, and these are the settlements. Now let's talk about the Crimean Khanate. 15 regions for consolidation, and we will need to eliminate the Principality of Moldova. For expansionism, we will have to hold 40 regions. For the Crimean Khanate, we have Oleski as the capital city. Let's remember that the Crimean Khanate is one of the successor states of the Golden Horde. So we have as the faction leader Hachi the Khan, and he himself as the greatest general. We have 5 generals with the Crimean Khanate, and we control 1 single region. That region is a city. So here we see Hachi Khan. This guy has a command of 6, a chivalry of 4, an authority of 6, and a piety of 4. He is of Borjigin origin. He is part of the Giray clan, and in his retinue he has a doctor, and he is as well the Khan of the Great Horde. The following are his traits. Nur Devlet Kalga is the heir of this faction, with 3 in command, 2 in dread, 5 in loyalty, and 4 in piety. He is as well of Borjigin origin, part of the Girey clan, and in his possessions he has the heir ring. The following are his traits. Here on lists we have a look at the commanders. We have here the agents, spy, an assassin, an imam, and a diplomat, and the only settlement of this faction. Now here we have the Principality of Kiev. This faction, in my opinion, is an interesting one. The reason is that in the previous version we haven't had a faction that was part of the Rus. So here we have the Kievian Principality with 15 regions for consolidation and 35 regions for expansionism. Let's have a look at this interesting faction. So as interesting as it gets, this faction is a faction that is situated over here in Kiev. This is the capital city. We have the faction leader called Kniaz Olelko, and he himself, Kniaz Olelko, is the greatest general. This faction gives us control of 5 generals, and we control, as the Kievians, 2 regions, 1 castle and 1 city. On the family tree we see Kniaz Olelko, an old man with 5 stars in command, 2 in chivalry, 6 in authority, and 4 in piety. This guy is of Ruthenian origin, House of Olelkovich, and he is the Kniaz of Kiev. Now let's have a look at the traits. So now let's go for the faction heir. Kniazich Simeon, 4 stars in command, nothing in chivalry, 6 in loyalty, and 5 in piety. He is of the House of Olelkovich, and he has the heir ring. He is of Ruthenian origin, and those are his traits. Here we see the list of commanders that we have for this faction. The list of agents. We have a princess, a diplomat, a priest, and a spy. So far is the first faction that we see with a princess, Eudokia Olelkovich, and 2 settlements. Now let's talk about the Republic of Venice. Now this faction is a powerful one. Is perhaps one of the most powerful factions that we are going to find in the side of the Europeans. For consolidation we have 15 regions, and we have to eliminate the faction of Genoa. For expansionism we need to conquer 60 regions. Eventually, the Italian Republic of Venezia brings us to one of the most beautiful cities ever recreated visually on a mod, and even in my opinion, that I have seen in a Total War game. The capital city of Venezia of TSARDOMS, made by Wallachian team, is the one that you are looking here. So here we see that the faction leader is Doge Francesco, the greatest general Bartolomeo Colleoni. We have 21 generals, because this is one of the most powerful factions. On the game, we see 21 generals, as I mentioned before, 17 regions controlled. 12 of those regions are cities. Here we see that we don't have a family tree, but we see the faction leader here.
Your orders, noble one.
Which is a commander with 4 stars, 4 chivalry, 8 authority and 4 piety. He is of Venetian origin and he is the Doge de Venezia. These are his traits. Now let's go ahead and see who is the faction heir. Grand Consigliere Pasquale.
Your orders, noble one.
Pasquale has 3 in command, 1 in chivalry, a full rings in loyalty, and 5 in piety. This guy has no retinue. He is of Venetian origin. He has a trait here that is called Consigliere Preferati. He is the member of the Signoria, which is the nobility, and these are his traits. And let's have a look at the greatest general, Bartolomeo Colleoni.
Your orders, noble one.
So this guy has 7 in command, 6 in chivalry, 7 loyalty for the Duce, and a piety of 3. In his retinue, he has a drill master. He is of Lombard origin, a condottiere, just to make emphasis here in one of his traits, and the following are the traits. So now let's have a look here at the commanders, which are a lot. Let's have a look at the agents. Now, as we can note, right off the bat, we see a merchant here. Now, this is the first faction that we see with a merchant here. And those are the settlements. The next faction is as well a republic, an Italian republic, and that is the Republic of Genoa. 15 regions to hold in consolidation, and we will have to destroy the Republic of Venice. This is the enemy of Venice, so either you decide to be Genoa or Venice, there's just one republic that will dominate the Mediterranean. For expansionism, we have 40 regions to conquer. Now, being this faction Genoa the rival of Venezia, we can see that Genoa is not so powerful. In comparison with Venezia, we have a small amount of cities. So the capital city is Senna, the Doge is Giano I, and the greatest general is Giovanni Giustiniani Longo. We have 14 generals in our command, and we control 8 regions. 5 of them are castles. This faction, as well being a republic, does not possess the mechanic of a family tree. However, we see that it has a faction heir and a faction leader. Let's have a look at them.
Your orders, noble one.
Now, Dutch Giano I, with 4 in command, 1 point in chivalry, 5 in authority, and 6 in piety, is of the house of Fregoso, of Genoese origin, and the Dutch of Genoa. The following are his traits. Now the faction heir,
Orders?
Gran Concilior Ludovico, 3 stars in command, no chivalry, 9 in loyalty, and 3 in piety, is as well of the house of Fregoso, of Genoese origin. He has as well the trait of Consigliere Preferati, and these are his traits. Now let's have a look at the greatest general here. Giovanni Giustiniani Longo.
Your orders, noble one.
So this guy has 5 stars in command, 5 chivalry, a loyalty of 8, and a piety of 4. In his retinue he has the Podesta of Caffa and Johannes Grant. He is of Genoese origin, and these are his traits. Now let's have a look at the list of military forces. Let's go ahead and check the agents. As a republic, these guys have a merchant, and those are the settlements. Continuing with the Italian factions, we found ourselves with the Duchy of Milan. These guys have 15 regions for consolidation and 40 regions for expansionism. Let's have a look at them. The Duchy of Milan is another faction that begins with a battle, and because we're changing areas here, geographically, we can start seeing a lot of differences in the beautiful models that we have for the castles and cities themselves. So now let's have a look at the capital city, Parma. The faction leader is Duke Francesco I, and as well Duke Francesco I is considered as the greatest general. With this faction we have 7 generals, 3 regions controlled, 2 of them are castles. Because this is a duchy, we have a family tree. Here we find Duke Francesco I, and he has 9 in command, a very able general indeed, one of the most powerful ones that we can stumble ourselves in this beautiful mod. Then we see that this guy is as well very chivalrous, with 7 points in chivalry, 5 in authority, and 3 in piety. This guy is of Romagnol origin. He is part of the house of Sforza. He is the Capitano Generale. His retinue we find as well Francesco Filelfo, Francesco Bianco, and a chivalrous knight. Let's have a look at his traits. Now, if we see here, we see Count Gelazzo Maria, which is the faction heir. It's a young child. This guy has 2 command, but indeed it has 7 dread, 6 loyalty and 2 piety. He is as well of Romagnol descendants, House Sforza as his house, and he is the Count of Pavia. Let's find out which are his traits. Now let's have a look at the list of commanders that are at our disposal with this faction. These are the list of agents: diplomat, spy, an assassin, and a bishop. And these are the 3 settlements. Next we see the Lordship of Ferrara. So we continue here with the Italian factions. For consolidation we have 15 regions and 30 regions for expansionism. Ferrara, my viewers, is the capital city of the faction of Ferrara. The faction leader is Signore Leonello and the greatest general is Niccolo Contrari. We have 6 generals with this faction, 2 regions controlled, which are divided in 1 city and 1 castle. Let's have a look at the family tree. Now here we see Signore Leonello, which is the faction leader. Let's have a look at him. So we see that this guy has 3 stars in command, 5 in chivalry, 5 in authority, and 5 in piety. He is of Romagnol descendants, from the house of Este. He is the Lord of Este, the Marquis of Ferrara, and in his retinue we find Guarino da Verona and a bard. Let's check the traits. Now let's go ahead and have a look at Podesta Borso. Who is Podesta Borso? Is the heir of the faction. He has 3 stars in command, 1 in dread, 6 in loyalty, and 3 in piety. He is as well of the house of Este, of Romagnol descendants. In his retinue he has the Borso di Este Bible. Let's have a look at his traits. Let's go straight to the list of commanders. These are the list of agents: a bishop, a diplomat, and a spy, and an assassin, and the 2 settlements. Now approaching to the last Italian faction, we find the Republic of Florence. 12 regions in consolidation, 30 regions in expansionism. The great Florentine Italian faction, with the capital city of Firenze, Fiorenza. Faction leader Signore Cosimo. The greatest general is Agnolo Acciuoli. We have 8 generals and 4 regions controlled by Florence. One of those regions is a castle. Let's have a look at the Signore Cosimo. Signore Cosimo has 3 in command, 6 in chivalry, and a maximum authority, 3 in piety. He is of Florentine origin, of the house of the Medici. He is the first citizen of Florence, and in his retinue he has Micheloso, Poggio Bracciolini, and a bard. As well, we can see over here his traits. Down here we see Gonfaloniere Piero de Guti. This guy has 3 in command, 3 in chivalry, 8 in loyalty and 3 in piety. He is of the house of Medici, of Florentine origin. In his retinue he has an artist and the heir ring as well. This guy is the faction heir. Let's have a look at his traits. Going straight to the list of generals, we can have a look here. We're going to find the most powerful general right now that we have seen those guys, and we found him in here.
Your orders, noble one.
This guy is the most powerful general, command of 5, chivalry of 4, 2 loyalty and 4 piety. So he is of the house of Acciaioli, of Florentine origin. In his retinue he has a chivalrous knight, and here we see his traits. Now let's go and check the agents. For Firenze we have a diplomat, a bishop, 2 priests, spy, an assassin, another diplomat and a merchant. These are the settlements. Now we pass to another powerful faction, the Kingdom of Sicily, or the Kingdom of Aragon. For the Kingdom of Aragon, or the Kingdom of Sicily, we have 20 regions for consolidation and 60 regions for expansionism. Now we go to the south of Italy and we find ourselves in Napoli, part of the Aragonese possessions of Italy, the Kingdom of Sicily. We see that the faction leader is King Alfonso V the Magnanimous, and he is as well the greatest general. This is a big and powerful faction with 18 generals in our command, 11 regions controlled, 5 of them are castles. Having a look at the family tree, we see the Magnanimous King Alfonso V. This guy has 6 points in command, 6 in chivalry, full points in authority, and a piety of 7. He is of Castilian origin, and he is part of the House of Trastamara of Sicily, the King of Sicily, the King of Sardinia and Corsica, and in his retinue we find ourselves with Antonio Beccadelli, and he is part of the Order of the Dragon. Now let's have a look at his traits. A powerful character indeed. Now let's have a look at Prince Fernando I, which is the faction heir. 3 stars in command. We have 5 schools in dread, 9 in loyalty, and 3 in piety. He is as well of Castilian royal blood, the House of Trastamara, the Duke of Calabria, and the following are his traits. Let's go ahead and find out who are the commanders. Let's have a look at the agents. Spy, an assassin, a diplomat, cardinal, a priest, and a bishop. And these are the settlements. Now approaching the last regional batch of the video, we're going to go for the German factions, and the first one is the Kingdom of Bohemia, 12 regions for consolidation and 35 regions for expansionism. A very interesting faction because we have wagons with these guys. Let's have a look at this. Okay, viewers, the Bohemians have the capital city of Praha, and the faction leader is King Jiri. Jiri is as well the greatest general. In this faction we have 5 generals and 3 regions controlled. One of those regions is a castle. King Jiri is a young king with 6 stars in command, 6 points in chivalry, 4 points in authority, and so far a very pious Christian king. 7 rings in piety. This guy is of Moravian origin. He is from the house of Podebrady. He is Hussite, and these are his traits. For the heir of this character, we have a young guy, which we cannot select. Let's have a look at the list of commanders. There we are. We have here the list of agents, 2 priests, 1 spy and a diplomat, and the 3 settlements. Next we have the Archduchy of Austria, another powerful German faction, which is the Habsburgs. In consolidation with the Austrians we have 15 regions to be controlled, and we need to eliminate the Swiss Confederacy. For expansionism we have to control 60 regions. With Austria we found ourselves, of course, in Vienna, the capital city. We have the faction leader Archduke Ladislaus de Postumius and Andreas Blumkircher as the greatest general. With this faction, which is a German faction, we have 13 generals in our command, and we control 9 regions. 4 of those regions are castles. Let's have a look at the family tree. With the family tree, we see here Albrecht. With the family tree, we see that we have Archduke Ladislaus de Postumius, that is a very young guy, which we cannot select. And then we have Duke Frederick III, the Peaceful, which is the heir apparent. So this is the beginnings of the House of Habsburg. As we can see, he is of Austrian origin, and as we can see, he has a command of 4, a chivalry of 5, full loyalty to the young Duke, and 7 points in piety. He is of the House of Habsburg, the Duke of Austria, the King of the Romans, and he has the Privy Seal and the Heir Ring. These are his traits. Here we can see the commanders that are at our disposal with Austria. Here we see the agents. This faction as well has a princess, Elizabeth Habsburg, which is going to be very important for the Habsburg monarchy. We have a priest, a bishop, a cardinal, 2 diplomats, an assassin and a spy. And these are the settlements, a very interesting faction indeed. Continuing with the Germans, we have the Duchy of Bavaria, 12 regions. For consolidation, we will have to eliminate the Archduchy of Austria. For expansionism, we would have to conquer 30 regions. As Bavaria, we will find ourselves in the capital city of München, and as well with a very small faction. To be honest, being this a rival of the Habsburgs, I think you will have a challenge if you want to destroy the Austrian Habsburgs. So the faction leader is the Duke Albrecht III, the Pious, and the greatest general is Sebastian I, the Fighter. We'll have in our disposal 5 generals, but we will control just 2 regions. The 2 regions are cities. So we can see that Duke Albrecht III the Pious is a 4-star commander, 3 points in chivalry, 5 in authority, and to be honest, a very pious German. Having 7 rings in piety. He is of Bavarian origin, from the house of Wittelsbach. He is the Duke of Bavaria Munich, and with him is Johannes Hartlieb. These are his traits. Now, as the faction leader, he has an heir which is Graf Johann, which we cannot select because he is a minor. Having a look at the commanders that are at our disposal, we find ourselves with these options. With agents, we have priest, spy, assassin, bishop, and a diplomat. And these are the 2 settlements. Then we have the county of Württemberg. 12 regions in consolidation. We will have to destroy the Duchy of Bavaria as well. And for expansionism, 30 regions. For this small German faction, we have the capital city of Stuttgart, faction leader Duke Ludwig I, the greatest general Wilhelm Harter von Hartneck, 6 generals, 2 regions controlled, divided in 1 city and 1 castle. We see here Duke Ludwig I, and this guy has 3 stars in command, 1 in chivalry, 4 in authority, and 3 in piety. He is of Swabian origin, from the house of Württemberg, the Count of Württemberg, and these are his traits. For the faction heir, we have Graf Ulrich V with 4 stars in command, 2 in chivalry, 8 in loyalty, and 4 in piety. He as well is of Swabian origin, from the house of Württemberg, and he is the Count of Württemberg Stuttgart. He has with him the heir ring. Let's have a look at his traits. Going to the list of commanders, we're going to find ourselves with the following guys. Now, we're going to check Wilhelm Herter von Hartneck.
For the Reich! For the Reich!
Wilhelm Herter von Hartneck is the most powerful commander. He's a young guy with 5 stars in command, 4 points in chivalry, 7 points in loyalty, and 3 in piety. With him is a chivalrous knight of Swabian origin, and these are his traits. Now we have a look at the commanders. 3 agents, being those a diplomat, a priest and a spy, and 2 settlements. Finally, we have the Swiss Confederacy. For consolidation, we will have to hold 10 regions and we will have to eliminate the Archduchy of Austria. For an expansionism option, we have 30 regions to conquer. Transporting ourselves to the Alps, we have the faction of the Swiss Confederation. For the last faction that we can find in this beautiful mod, find ourselves in the capital city of Lucerne. The faction leader is the Schultheiss Ital the Younger, and the greatest general is as well Schultheiss Ital the Younger. 5 generals for us to command and 2 regions controlled. One is a city, the other one is a castle. With this faction we don't have a family tree. However, we have a faction leader and a faction heir, so this is going to behave something like a republic.
Name thy enemy, Lord.
Schultheiss Ital the Younger has a command of 5, 3 skulls in dread, 5 points in authority and 3 in piety. For his origin, it is listed here, old cantons. He is of the Swiss nobility and he is the Schultheiss. The following are his traits. Now we have a look at the faction heir. Landaman Adrian. 4 stars in command, 4 points in chivalry, 8 rings in loyalty, and 5 in piety. He is as well from the old cantons, and he is the Bernes patrician. These are his traits. Now here we have a look at the commanders that we have with the Swiss Confederacy. We see here a couple of priests, an assassin, a diplomat and a spy for agents, and the 2 settlements. So here, fellow viewers, we have reached to the end of the video. Of course, this was a very long video, but hopefully this is going to help you to have a more clear understanding on what you can find with this mod. With this, I would say thank you very much for watching. If you like my content, give a like, so help the algorithm to spread my videos. Subscribe to the channel. This was factions and starting positions for Fall of Constantinople 1448 TSARDOMS Total War. This was Victus. See you in the next one.